Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today you join me on my first episode of my lure review. Now to kick things off, I'm going to be using the Daiwa Prorex Hybrid lure. Now what makes it a hybrid? Well, it's got a hard head and it's got a soft body, soft jointed body, and it's almost like it's got a swim bait action effectively, and just to imitate an injured fish, a real fish swimming. I've actually gone for the 18cm version, which is 50 grams in weight, and it's the Pike pattern. Now it is a lure that I have used about a year and a half ago for about half an hour, and I did actually have a follow of a pike on this particular lake. And I've just turned up to the lake and there's been a few pike actually crashing in the margins, chasing the fry, and conditions are looking spot on for a bite. So with the lure review, I'm going to give myself 2 to 3 hours to use the lure, and then I'll take it back to the office and we'll give it a score out of 10 on a few different credentials. So without further ado, let's get fishing. Now as I've been setting up, there have been pike crashing just in these areas. You can see fry scattering all over the place as soon as there's a minor explosion in the water. So there's definitely fish feeding, whether it's perch or pike. I suppose we're going to find out. That's the plan anyway. Oh, and we're in straight away. Look at that, first cast with the Daiwa Prorex. And we're in. What a result that is. There's another pike just crashed as well. Oh, there's loads of pike here feeding. There's not just the one. Well, what a result that is, guys. First cast with the Daiwa Prorex. We've only gone and hooked ourselves a nice little jack. There's definitely more fish in. Definitely more fish to be had in this area, because as soon as that one took it, the whole place erupted. Let's get her unhooked. What a lovely fish. And there we go, nicely unhooked. There we go then, first pike of the day on the Daiwa Prorex. Probably just a 6-7 pound mark. But what a lovely start. There's definitely more fish to be had out there. So we'll slip her back and see if we can get ourselves another one. What a start. And there she goes. Back into the deep to fight another day. Well, I can't believe that first cast. And we managed to catch ourselves a pike. I've blanked for the last 2 or 3 times I've gone out lure fishing, and it just goes to show when they're feeding, they're feeding. Like I said, when I first arrived here, it was absolutely bubbling with fry darting all over the place and big swirls. So there's definitely predators in the area chasing the bait fish. But I wasn't expecting it to be. I was expecting us to get some action, but I wasn't expecting it to be the first bloody cast. All right. Let's chuck it out for the second cast and see if we can repeat that. Well, there's some super sharp hooks on the Daiwa Prorex. I haven't changed them over, and that pike was absolutely nailed. And I like the double stinger on it. This double stinger that it comes with, it's just ensures that if you do get a pike grab it, you've got double the chance of a hook setting in. And I do like that option on this this particular lure. Oh guys, did you see that? There's definitely another pike down there that's hungry. He's chasing after the prey fish. Just in off these reeds. I'm going to pull it back quite slowly while we go past there, because there's definitely fish feeding. And they're not shy about it, that's for sure. So one problem with this lure, it does run quite deep, and I know for a fact that it's not actually... It's got apparently a 5 metre running depth, or can run up to 5 metres at least. And I know for a fact that it's nowhere near that deep on this lake, not even in its deepest point. So just had a robin land on my camera. I don't know if you could see that, it just flew back into the tree, but it just landed on the camera. I've got it there setting, doing some wide angle shots of me fishing. Yeah, so I think I'm actually fishing it too slow because it's not actually getting much movement in the tail. Let's try again, a bit of faster retrieve. That's better. Get a nice bit of action in there. Well, the weather for the past few weeks, guys, has been absolutely terrible. It's been non-stop rain. The rivers are still in flood. And now the last 2 or 3 days, we've actually seen some glimpse of winter setting in with cold, misty mornings, ice on the car, -2 to 3 degrees. And I'm hoping that that's put the fish in a feed and move. It's certainly demonstrating that at the moment with the pike, how they're feeding when we first showed up. But hopefully that means we can get a good amount of fishing in soon, if the weather continues to stay like this. Last cast in this swim, I think, and we'll move on to the swim, a couple of swims down to my left, because I've been hearing some fish crash down there, and I put money on it. There's pike chasing the fry into the reeds. Now, first impression of the lure is that I actually really like it. I like the design. I like the colour scheme of the lure that I've chosen to use. The weight of it's quite nice to cast as well. It doesn't seem too heavy to keep casting about. But the only concern I have with it at the minute is it doesn't seem to swim, or doesn't seem to have an action when you fish it really slow with a slow retrieve. It does need a bit of speed. But that's okay, because what you can do is, like what I've been doing, is putting a few quick bursts in and letting it just pools, just letting it sit. And hopefully that seems to be a nice little action there that it does have. It just looks like a slower retrieve might not necessarily be the best option with this particular lure. Well, if you're enjoying the video and you like the lure review so far, why not drop it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's very much appreciated. That way you'll be notified whenever I post my next video. Like I say, this year I'm hopefully going to be posting once a week, whether that's a lure review or a carp fishing trip or even just a tutorial. My aim for this year is to be posting as consistently as I possibly can, so your support is very much appreciated. Oh, that was a good fish. That was a good fish. I don't know if you would have picked that up on camera, but one's just followed it in and absolutely nailed it, but didn't hook. That was a good fish. That was a good double if ever I seen one. Oh, here we go. We're in. God, it's not a bad fish actually. There we go. The Prorex doing the business again. Yeah, that's a good fish. Nice fish. There we go. Look at that. Just caught in the lip as well. Well hooked, both stingers doing the job. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Good result. Look at that. That shows you how lightly hooked she was. Literally just slipped out. there she is. Probably a little bit bigger than the last one, very long fish, but very lean as well. Probably £7 mark, but enough of fish and enough of fine example that the Daiwa Prorex Hybrid lure is actually doing the business. What a result. Let's get her back, see if we can get enough one. I think she's going to be strong enough to swim away. And there she goes, back into the depths. Lovely fish. Well, that's 2 hours fishing with the Daiwa Prorex Hybrid lure, and it's actually performed really well. I'm pretty surprised of how well it actually did perform. I wasn't expecting to get 2 pike within a couple of hour periods, but we managed to do so. And if you do want to get yourself one of these, I'll leave a link in the description of the video for you to go and purchase one. But for now, we'll go back home and we'll review the lure. So the Daiwa Prorex Hybrid lure, obviously bearing in mind this is the 18cm version at 50 grams in weight. In this review, we're going to be going through 4 categories. It's going to be the same for all the reviews that I do. And we're going to be looking at the price of the lure, the design of the lure, the adaptability of the lure, and also the confidence I have using it. Now, I came away from this particular review actually quite impressed with this particular lure. Now, price-wise, to buy it from a shop, it's around £11.99. Which is what I paid for this about 1.5 years ago. Now I have had a look on the internet, and you can pick them up for around £6 mark. So in terms of price, I mean, if you're paying £11.99, I've scored it a 7 out of 10. But if you can pick it up for 5 or 6 quid, I mean, it's a bargain really. Moving on to design. It's got a really good design. I actually like the hybrid style of the lure, having the hard head and the soft body. That way you don't have to buy a whole new lure, you can just buy the tail section, obviously being a soft swim bait. I've caught 2 pike on this, and there are quite a few deep gouges in the actual soft plastic. So I can imagine you would be replacing the bodies after, you know, a good few months of use and a good few months of catching pike on it. But apart from that, I like the design of the lure, the general aesthetics of it. It's got some great colour variations that you can buy for the lure, which suit all sort of water conditions. But I really like this pike design. It's nice and flashy. It's in your face. Also semi natural as well, replicating the pike. It's a very well designed lure. Now, I've given it an 8 out of 10 on design. Just there is obviously some, like the paint job, it is good. There are obviously some flaws on it. It's only quite a light coat of paint, so there's plenty of marks already on the lure, like I say. And I love the two hook system. It's really good. It means if you've got double a chance there of connecting with that pike. So that's got an 8 out of 10 on design. Now, adaptability is probably where this particular lure falls down for me. It's quite a hard lure to swim slow. I mean, it has very little action if you fish it fairly slow, which is why I found giving it a few quick winds, it sort of gets that action in, and then giving it a pause just so it's just sitting there. That's the only way I found I could fish it, quite slow. Is giving it a few quick winds to get that action in, and then just letting it pause there and just like suspend. And also, it's really good for deeper waters. Obviously, it's got that lure there, that lip on the front, so which means it does dive down quite deep. And for the water that I was fishing, it was around 6 foot in depth, sort of on average. And I don't know if you can see, there's quite a lot of clay and debris on the lip where I was quite often hitting the bottom and scraping along debris, and you're constantly taking off leaf debris from the hooks. But I scored that a 7 out of 10 because I think it is a good lure. You can fish it slow as long as you get a bit of action into the lure with a couple of quick winds, let it suspend. But you can't fish it at just a constant slow, because no action will happen in the lure. It just sort of glide through the water. So that scored a 7 out of 10. Confidence in the lure. Now, before I started fishing with it, I would have probably scored this, probably quite low, because I didn't have much confidence that it would catch me a few fish. But after catching 2 pike on it within 2 hours, and finding out a way of being able to fish it for the water I was fishing, I actually do feel relatively confident in the lure. So I scored that at 7 out of 10 as well. I will use it again, and now I've found a way that I actually enjoy fishing with it, and I had, obviously as a result, caught a couple of pike on it. Now that scored a 7 out of 10, which makes it an overall, for the first lure review, the Daiwa Prorex Hybrid Swimbait is going to score an overall 7.25 out of 10, which I think is a respectable score for a lure, and it's definitely one is going to remain in my tackle box for the specific situation. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this instalment of the lure review. Until the next time, I'll catch you later.